My name is Thorsten Overgaard. I travel the world taking photographs and teaching photography. Today I will tell about printing and about my prints. Before I get into it, below the video there's a link where you can download a free ebook, and the book I put today is one called the Salzburg collection, and that is a collection of photographs I did an exhibition of in Salzburg in Austria in the Leica Gallery, and it's actually also the prints I'm going to talk about in this video. It's normally $38, today it's free. You just put in your email and the code and it's yours. And there's also, when you look below the video, you'll see there's a few other free downloads of presets and styles and also another ebook. But the one Salzburg is the first one I've given away for free. So stop the video, pause the video and click on the link now before you forget it. A new slogan of mine is that everything has to go somewhere. And that is an expression of that now we have gone through, well, we've gone through photography with film and so on, but particularly with digital photography, we can take a lot of photographs. And if you've been photographing for a few years, you will see you have a lot of photos. It easily adds up to thousands of photos. And then one day you might wonder, what should I do with this? They should go somewhere. And a lot of the efforts I do now is, how do you get the photographs out? Like how can you share them with the people in the photographs or anybody who is it relevant for? You could also say, how can you make a business model out of it? How can you sell your photographs as print or digital files or something for magazines and so on? So that's a very interesting subject. So I went to Denmark, where it's nice and cold this time of year. And I was cleaning out a house, and one of the things I found was I found some leftover prints from the Salzburg exhibition I did in the Leica Galerie Salzburg in 2012. So I found some prints here that actually printed 12 years ago, and that alone, that they're printed not right now, but they're printed then, makes them even more valuable. And they're all unsigned. So one of the things I'm sitting here and doing by this big table is I'm signing photographs. I'm signing them on the front here with my name, and I write what year it's taken and what's in the photograph or where it is. And then usually on the back also I'll put here that is printed 2012, and then my signature as part of it. And now that it's prints, let's just talk about this. Is 50 times 70 centimeters. The way I have done prints for a long time is like I don't number them. So I sign them and so on. So there could be 2 of this or 200, doesn't really matter. It shouldn't be, that shouldn't be the value, how few is of these photos. Of course I have other series where some of the photos are limited, that has only made 10 or 3 prints or whatever. But one of the interesting things about this one is that this is Lambda print. So this Lambda is a type of printing where you print on photo paper. So this is made on photo paper, and if you can imagine, like you've seen like an inkjet that it prints with, it spits out ink. A Lambda printer spits out light on photosensitive paper. So this is like doing in a darkroom, except it's like a huge printer. And not a lot of this exists anymore. Most of it is made as inkjet these days. And you can say inkjet is in many ways superior in detail and sharpness and everything compared to anything you could do in a darkroom. But I chose, for a long time, I wanted to have prints that when you sit with a print, it looks like something that comes from a darkroom. It has to look like a photograph and not a print. It's not really a problem anymore. You could say today, if you go look for somebody who used to do Lambda print and also called C-print. C-print is another name for something printed on photo paper with light. Then those facilities, those printers don't have all the chemicals and all those Lambda and C-print machines anymore in darkrooms. They have inkjet, but then they have a way of making inkjet so it looks like photo print. And of course you can choose different papers. You can have fancy paper with silver in it, or it can look like canvas and so on. I don't personally really like that. I like that it looks like photo paper. So for example, this one is silk matte. It's not gloss and it's not totally matte. When it's totally matte photo paper, I think it's it eats too much of the image and too much of the light. and gloss in this size, I don't really like, and you say, and then I made it here, so this is 50 times 70 centimeters, so it's bigger than the European format called A2, and it has a black frame here, and my idea with the way I made this print is that this is almost like you can imagine that this is a wooden frame you have around the picture. This is how I envision you should buy this print, and then you frame it, you put it with a black frame, and you have passepartout here, and then it's signed here on the front and the back. So it's not meant that you should actually frame it, so you can see this black frame out here. And basically any photograph I bought by anybody and hung on my wall, and any of my own photos, I have passepartout around them, so that's why I kind of designed that this is how a print for me is looking. So I found this stack of prints, and they're rare and they're unsigned, so now I have to sign them. And then these prints here you can actually still buy. They're going to be at the Leica Galerie Salzburg, where they have some of my big and some of my smaller prints like this. So you can buy them. There's only one of each of these ones, but there's different from around the world, from Mallorca and Hong Kong, New York, Los Angeles, what have you, Germany. Even Sydney over here, and I found one cool one here. So this is actually my daughter Robin, and this is back from 2010. This photograph where she's looking out the window in New York. So we were having Christmas and New Year in New York, me and my kids, and she's my youngest daughter, and the youngest of my kids, but she's 20 now, and she's just getting a new apartment here in 2 weeks in Copenhagen. So this one I signed, and I'm going to frame it for her so she can hang it in her new apartment. And I hope she's happy to look at a photo of herself from when she was only 6 years old. So I do other prints also. I mean, one type of print I really like to do is large. So they're like 6 feet tall, that means 180 centimeters. And those ones I usually print on gloss paper, and then they're laminated on aluminum. So that means it's a special way of framing. You say they don't need a frame, there's not going to be glass in front of them, you just laminate, it's photo paper like this, so you laminate it onto aluminum, and then there's a couple of hangers on the back of the aluminum, so you just have 2 screws on the wall, and that's where you hang it. And then I laminated also on front of the photo paper, is laminated with gloss, and it has to be gloss. I had one exhibition where we did just large prints like that. I think we did 8 or 12 prints in Singapore, and then somebody thought, no, let's make it matte paper and matte laminating on front, so it doesn't reflect the light, and that simply ruins a picture completely. You could say it's natural. It's kind of like if you have a picture on the wall like this behind me here, there's glass in front of them. So of course they're going to reflect lamps and sunshine and everything, but that's part of it, but it makes it more alive. If it's matte, it still have some reflection, but also the life of the picture simply dies. But large prints I really like, and I like the people who have bought my large prints to see how to hang them, because they tend to be dominating a room, or if you have them at the end of a hallway, or you walk into a store and there's a big print, and it kind of sets the whole tone for that room, and that's, so it becomes more of your lifestyle and your design and the atmosphere you experience and people experience when they visit you. Whereas you can say when you buy prints like this, even they're big, you hang them on the wall. You can say, for example, here on this wall there's different pieces of art hanging, and it just becomes part of what's hanging on the wall. It's not necessarily something you look at, but a big print, that is something you look at almost every day, and you notice that, yeah, I have this print on my wall. The next thing I will be coming up with, so there's a link below the video also to prints on my website, and there's far from all the prints you can get. Fundamentally, you can take any photograph you can find on my website, or any photograph you know I've taken, and say I would like to buy this signed edition in big or small or whatever size I want. Can you make a series of Venice, or can you make a series of New York, for home, for restaurant, for business or hotel, whatever. And that's also something you can contact the Leica Gallery in Salzburg. They're very good. They have different PDFs for different themes and different cities and so on. So they can help you design a whole collection of prints. But one thing I have, because I buy and collect prints, but I'm not actually buying them for the value of them. Of course, it's very interesting. So one reason I do it is I like prints, but also it's kind of like I like books. But I'm not a collector. I'm not doing it to make an art collection, to make money or to show what I got. So usually what I have of prints is things I admire. So I have Henri Cartier-Bresson, I have Helmut Newton. And sometimes they're kind of expensive. That's just how it is. But that's not why I buy them, and it's not because I expect that they will go up in value that I buy them, I hope. But that's not the point of it. It's more I want to own a piece of that artist. And usually I will try to find, as the first or the only print I get from somebody, I will find the one that is like the essence of that person. So I have like Henri Cartier-Bresson, I have the jumping man. That is the Henri Cartier-Bresson. And I don't really feel like having any more of him. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not really lusting for it. I'm not missing it. Helmut Newton, I have the woman with the Hermes saddle on the back from Paris, and that is for me the essence of Helmut Newton. So that I have. And then I also see that I have limited wall space, and also once you get something and you hang on the wall, it has sort of a limited interest, and you don't really notice it for months or weeks or years, and then you say, oh, I have a Henri Cartier-Bresson next to my coffee machine. And that makes you a little bit happy, and you kind of forget it again. So one of the things I have, because I want to have a piece of an artist, and it kind of like, it's almost like somebody makes a great LP music, and you want to have that in your collection, but it's not that you're necessarily going to listen to it every day, but it's kind of like you have to have that because that's part of what should be in your collection. So one of the things I'll do for different reasons is I will be launching very soon 6.6 prints, so it's like small prints, and they're going to be priced very not expensive. And the idea is that I like to have small prints. I can have a lot of things hanging around that can fit everywhere. If everything like this size, you run out of wall space really quickly. But also I think that you or other people might want to just have like, they like this photo of the horse, or they like this photo of Robin in Istanbul, or they like this one. So now you have the photo, and it didn't cost you a lot, and you can fit it in somewhere, and then mission accomplished. So that's my idea, and you could say even it's cool to sign prints, and I usually joke that it's like printing money, and it is, but you would say the printing of photographs and selling them is not a big business. There's money in it, but that's not where the big money is by any means. So in that sense, I calculate now I'd rather sell 30 or 50 small prints and make 30 or 50 people happy by having that print than selling one print for the same price, and then there's one person in New York that have it in his own private gallery in his apartment or something. I mean, I'm happy to do both, but that's why I'm going to do smaller prints also. And then I know now that we are talking prints that people have all kinds of questions. Should I get a printer and so on? And that is something, it's actually covered in my Lightroom survival kit and my Capture One survival kit. So those are how to edit and make an archive of your photos, and they go a little bit into sharing photographs. There's more stuff coming soon in books and packages, how to share your photographs, or everything has to go somewhere. How do you do that? Where should it go? How can you do it? And there's lots of great ideas in that, and I will get into that. You can say one thing is printing photographs, and you can say, for example, this one was not printed to give to my daughter. I mean, she does have other prints and so on, but this one was printed as part of an exhibition. But now I have it here, and now I'm going to give it to her, so that is also, it goes somewhere. And there's different ways where you can give it to friends, or you can have smaller photographs at home, and then they can see them. If they like them, they can take them and so on. You can also put them in frames and send them or give them for Christmas and birthdays and anniversaries and stuff like that. But then you say, the question comes down to, should you print yourself or should you have it done outside? And you will say, for most people, you find a printer outside, meaning a professional printer. And there is in the Lightroom Survival Kit and Chapter 1 Survival Kit, there is a guide to how finding it. And it's, I can tell here, it's not a secret. You search on Google, you search for Lambda and aluboard. So Lambda is this print, and aluboard is the aluminium board I talked about before. So if you search in New York or Singapore or Sydney or somewhere, you're going to get very few hits on printers that can do both, say that both know what Lambda is and aluboard. And those who can do that are professional printers. So that means when you come and visit them, they already print for galleries and museums and so on. So they know how to print in proper quality. You could say if you do a search for color print in New York, you can get 2,000 or 20,000 hits of all kinds of people who can make color prints on the Xerox machine, or they have a small printer in the deli or whatever, and that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for something where you have a file on the screen and it looks like this, and you want to send it to a printer, and when you come and pick up the print, you want to have it look exactly as the print or the picture you saw on your screen, and you want to have it in quality so it lasts 10, 20 or 120 years, and the colors are accurate and everything. So that's how to find that. And you can say that is actually an easy way to do it, because you're dealing with professional people. They know, they will tell you what kind of file they want, if they want 16-bit or 8-bit or TIFF or JPEG and so on. And when you come and look at it, it looks exactly as it should. And if it doesn't, then they know and they're gonna fix it. Once you get into having your own printer, and there's a whole section in my survival kit, how to select the printer, what size it should be, what type, how to run a printer so it doesn't cost you a lot of money in ink, and how to select the papers and make everything very simple about it. So that's also a way, and it's actually something I did in my studio. I have a printer now, and I have a workflow for color, one for black and white, and it's the same workflow for all sizes, same paper and packaging and everything. And I even have, in my studio, I have standard pockets like this, plastic pockets, to put the prints in. I have mailers to mail the prints in. And even I have it very standardized, and the quality is designed to be very high. It's still a lot of work, and it's not something I can say I enjoy. I actually would enjoy to send it out. So the reason I chose to have a printer in the house is that as I move on and edit photos and select photos, some of them I should print, and maybe I should print 5 or 10 or 20 of them. And that's what the workflow is set up to. So I actually will accomplish that. I will do that, because else it's going to be you just have a lot of pictures on your hard drive and they're Word being printed, but you just never get around to printing them. And then suddenly you have maybe 50 or 100 or 200 photos. You think, oh, I should get prints made of these. And then sending them out of the house is actually, wow, that's actually, now we're talking money to get this printed. And it's not a lot of money per print, but it just becomes a chunk of money. So setting up a workflow where you can print as you go and give away or sell or whatever, that can make sense. But it's both those things are in the Lightroom Survival Kit and the Chapter 1 Survival Kit, all the considerations, how to do it, what it means, and also the problems you can run into and how to overcome them. And I'll put a link below the video also to the Survival Kits. But I think that's basically what I have to say about this. I'll get back to signing these, because I have to sign and package these and get them shipped off within the next 2 hours before UPS closes. So that's all I had to say today. Thank you for watching, and until I see you the next time, remember to always wear a camera, and of course remember the links below the video.